says it's preparing.
Okay.
Okay, I think we're live. I'm just going to check really quickly to see if we are live in the events. We should be. Want to make sure I'm in the right place. And I also got to remember to record. Do that now. Okay. I'm looking to see if we are on the
I was
event.
looking for that too.
I don't know that I'm not actually seeing it live in the event yet. But it says we're live.
Okay. Then we are.
I'm not. All right, let me go back out. Come back in. In case there was any comments or that, I wanted to have it pulled up. Well, I'm not able to access it, so we're just going to move on faith that we truly are live on Facebook. And for those that are tuning into this event, this is a Day of Light and Love 2020. This is our fourth annual. This is the fourth year that we will be live streaming for 24 hours to support people and to offer messages of light, of love, of hope, of grace to the world and to those who need to most receive this message now. And I'm Jeanne Fritch, and I am very, very honored and proud to host this event and to introduce you to just someone that I've become very close to. We've shared many just beautiful conversations. And honestly, Angel-ica, I do want to say that for me, you are totally a beacon of faith on Facebook. You are, I mean, that's the platform that I see you show up on, probably the most that I see you, and your messages and your unwavering faith really and truly is an inspiration to me and to many others that I see read your posts and comment. So welcome. I'm so glad that you could make it again.
Oh, so blessed, so blessed.
And you're in Florida,
yes,
in the U.S.
Florida, yes, I'm in Tampa, Florida, and I shared earlier with my children that we were going to have this gathering to send love and light to people around the world, whoever could come and join us. And they were excited. They were very, very, very happy and excited, saying prayers during dinner. You know, it was beautiful. They felt included when
I love how you said that they didn't want to go to sleep. They didn't want to go to bed. So we were a little late getting started here because we were doing some things behind the scene. But I love that. I was thinking the twins are, what are they now? Are they 8?
They're 9 years old.
9 years old.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, it's amazing how time just, you know, when you live a blessed life, time flies. Time does not, you know, consume you, but instead that life becomes a joy to live it every day. And that's how I feel, or whatever you read in Facebook when I post, I think emanates from that love and from that blessing that it feels like to be so trusting and so faithful. So, and I was telling my children today, I truly hope that one day you can tell me you believe in God as you believe in Santa Claus. Because to see them excited about Santa Claus coming tonight, and for me to keep the inspiration and the feeling going of where is he now, and things like that. How good have you been this year? But isn't that we should be doing about God every day, us as an adults? Isn't that the belief we all should have for God? When do we lose that? When do we stop having that spirit of knowing that he's there, you know,
Mm,
knowing that we are supported and surrounded by him all the time, and he doesn't, you know,
wow.
come like once a year to bring us gifts. He shows up for us every day if we are there for him.
And maybe define if we are there for him, because I just think he's just there.
Yes,
He's there all the time. I think
absolutely.
when we're there for him, that just means we're working on the connection, and we're more aware of his presence.
Something that I think culture, society, religion, even all the background that we had carried or was built through us is part of our understanding of God. Um, it was maybe 7 years ago when someone invited me to meditate. For me, I didn't know exactly how to do that. What will that do to me? But I knew I wasn't sleeping. I knew I wasn't sleeping. And now, 7 years later, I cannot conceive myself without meditation. I do meditate 3, 4 times a
Oh,
day.
yeah.
And it's not like, it's a deep prayer. It's a deep prayer where I sometimes I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I do a meditation for an hour. And trust me, I do go back to sleep.
Yeah.
But I'm filled up with all this time, is this gathering, this presence. That's how we are present. Because if we silence ourselves, if we give God the time to make us aware of his presence, of we are always cravings, our spirit is craving of him. But if we have the TV on, we have the radio on, the children are playing, everything is loud, when will we hear him? You know, when will we really listen to the voice that emanates from us?
Yes.
This understanding that, yes, he lives in me. I am this temple that he built in me to fulfill this life. That's where we begin to recognize that he was never far from us. He was never apart from us, as we believe. You know, it is more of one within ourselves. That
So what I'm hearing you say, because there may be people who, like myself, it's only been kind of recent history, which means probably solidly 5 years, 4 or 5 years, that I have meditated daily, and oftentimes 2 and 3 times a day. And my connection, my connection and my calm, it's amazing how much it increases the calm that you feel regardless of what's happening. There's this kind of this core steadiness and clarity. And I think the more that you do set that time aside, because for me, when I go into meditation, I'm I've been in meditation for so long that now um, I can access that connection like very easily. But
is
it's like if you do it consistently, all of a sudden there's an ease to that connection.
mhm.
And that's what I'm connecting with what you're saying. And I'm thinking about the person that maybe was like me. Like you said, it's only been like the last 7 years that you've meditated. You know, I didn't really understand. I didn't understand. And once you dedicate yourself to the process of meditating, because I think it's almost like a muscle that the more that you use it and the more you access it, the just the easier it is. And I actually crave it. Like I'll know I need to just pause here and go.
You need to make a pass and
And sometimes it's not like a really long time because it's easier now to get to that place of the connection.
sometimes people think that, other cultures have, practices of the monks that do it
Yes.
hours,
Yes.
ongoing hours. There is a movie someone invited me to watch. This monk was on meditation for 3 years, 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days.
Wow.
It's a movie, but but it's not like that. I'm a mother. I have 5 children. So I'm in constant, an ongoing busy life. But that doesn't. I think when the understanding of me not having to make time for God because me and God were one, that's when my understanding came to be that I had to be making time for other tasks, like to be a mother, like to be at service, like to write. I had to make time for those things, but I no longer needed to make time for God because He was already within me. That was like coming home when that realization came to be. And it doesn't take long, it doesn't take a lifetime, but it does take commitment.
It does. And and consistency, it's like that's the thing that I think for me, it was just being consistent, and then it's a habit. And
it's so simple to understand if you think you brush your teeth to keep it white, right?
Yeah.
Every day. Well, you do something every day to keep that blessing, to keep that joy, to keep that feeling of
to keep him here, to
yes,
keep
yes.
that connection, that openness, to keep things flowing.
Flowing, yes, going.
So really, this event it's for everyone, but it's really the inspiration for this event is the person who's home right now. They're aware it's Christmas. Right now it's Christmas Day where you are. It's almost Christmas Day where I am. I just completed a really large gathering, actually, of my kids and my grandkids, and dinner and gifts and games, and it was a very full, very robust experience. And I remember when it wasn't that way. I remember when life was had some darkness in it, and it was, you knew, like for me, I knew the light was out there, but it seemed so far. And I know that there's people that are feeling that way tonight, for many reasons. There's a lot of parts of the world that they can't just get together, and they are by themselves. I got a text from my aunt earlier today, a beautiful message that she sent me. And she's going to be spending it by herself because she's going through a treatment and she can't really afford catching anything. And so it's just a very, there are people that are in situations that, they're feeling alone. That what you talked about, that connection, Could you maybe, I mean, I know you're not like a meditation teacher, but you are a practitioner of both prayer and meditation. And for me, I think of prayer as the asking. And I think of meditation as just being quiet and receiving.
This is something very beautiful to share. I believe that anyone who feels at a state of mind where they're alone, but they need to feel supported, the prayer is the answer for for everything, you know. And many of us leave it as a last resource, but I think it would
Yes.
be our first one, our first
Oh,
of all.
yes.
And
Yes.
actually, prayer is the way we speak, the way we think, the way we communicate. Even when we're quiet in ourselves, if our mind is busy in the wrong prayer, we are praying against ourselves.
Mm, mm.
We are in a deep prayer where God is always going to tell you, yes, my darling, yes, my child. If that is what you want, that is what you will keep receiving. That prayer that says, I am alone, I am broke, I don't have a job, I don't have a good family, my family doesn't support me. That's why I am in this situation where I have nobody. That is always going to be an answer from God that yes, you are right on what you are saying to yourself. So that is a prayer that we unfortunately make the mistake of using the wrong words.
So just to make sure that I'm following what you're saying, what you speak,
What you think, what you speak.
what you think, what you speak is literally a prayer.
Yes.
And we tend to pray in reverse, especially when we're in situations that are challenging or when things are going kind of aren't going maybe in a certain direction. We're speaking in the speaking of, boy, you know, why is this always happening to me? Or, you know, why can't I find a man that will love me? Why can't I have the baby I really want to have? Why can't, and we're literally praying in reverse. And in doing that, we're creating the platform that the thing that we don't want, like it's almost like a garden where it's seeds that are planted, like our words and
And
our
the weeds,
thoughts. What's that?
the weeds
We
around
plant,
our
we,
words are the bad words that we keep repeating and repeating and repeating. And I truly believe that if we will center ourselves to know who God is for us, who He is as a holy power, as a divine almighty, and we begin to practice or listen more to His words, to His love, everything that emanates from Him, we recognize immediately when we read it. It resonates, it brings us joy, it uplifts us. But if we don't have a Bible in our hands, if we don't have a place to go and read it, if we simply by changing the way we think and speak to God, our lives will change immediately. Because then your prayer starts being a command emanating from those words that God so divinely left us so we can find comfort, love, support, that care, that all those promises are there. But if we don't know them, we're always going to be living a life against what He had promised us.
yeah.
It's very, very easy. It's very, very simple to understand God and to be loved by God. We're always loved. This brought me tears this morning because I have a nativity just outside my entrance. And Natalie said, "Mommy, baby Jesus doesn't have a blanket. Do you think he will forgive us for not putting a blanket on him?" So she went and grabbed a towel and covered him. And then I said, Jesus is truly the personification of forgiveness. And that's why we have to give, be the givers of his message, because otherwise, you are right. We are not doing the right thing by not covering him. He needed a blanket, and my daughter thought, oh, okay, I'm going to bring him a towel, and a tiny little hand towel because it's a small nativity. But children do recognize, how to care. And even though it's just a statue, I wonder if we go on a car ride and she finds a man, I'm pretty sure she's going to pull a sweater for him or something. But when we live through the words of Jesus, when we live through what he brought us to share with others, he wasn't only showing us to be abundant when he multiplied the bread or the fish. He's also teaching us to multiply his words through us.
Oh.
He's really teaching us to multiply his words through us.
It's so interesting that you bring that up, because I actually had that. I had that thought the other day, and it's for the first time ever. It came to me, and I thought that taking that bread and taking that fish and feeding them all, feeding that crowd, right? The idea is that through him, like, we have the power to multiply our efforts. Everything that we do has that capacity to multiply.
Yes, to multiply. And these times of technology and of building communities, it's very simple to say a word, and if people think has a meaning, be shared to others, and the word spreads. But even though it's so easy, many people, when you start talking about how beautiful it is to be blessed every day through the word of God, still don't understand that that's what they need to pay attention to. It still is a task that we need to commit ourselves to build that easy ear to listen to the word of God. It's
beautiful.
It's very, very oblivious to me that 2,000 years ago, Jesus changed the world. And it seems like we are exactly at the same place where he left us. Because we are in so much need of his presence all around the world. We haven't achieved unity. We haven't achieved his teachings of loving one another. We haven't realized that without him, we are lost, because he is the way to our God, to our Heavenly Father. So he's being born right now, as history has it. But can he be born in our hearts? Can we welcome him? Can we get to know him a little better? Can we keep him in our daily tasks, as we, so simple example that I told you earlier. Do we brush our teeth every day? to keep it shining. That's something that when we want to smile, do we smile from our hearts or do we smile from, exactly, even a smile that we share with others is a prayer.
Mm,
It's a prayer for
that's
someone
beautiful.
who is waiting, to feel that tenderness, that love that we have, but so often we don't choose to just give it away.
And for someone who's like, I know myself, different phases of my life, I've gone through some periods that, like I said, were darker. The one thing that I did know, and that is that the more I put my attention on myself, and the more that I put my attention on those thoughts, planting the seeds for weeds instead of the flowers that I wanted to come up in my life, because I was, sometimes grumbling and complaining to myself about certain things. But I knew that as soon as I turned my thoughts and my actions to lifting someone else up or helping someone else, it was amazing how much lighter, how much lighter I felt, how much better I felt, how much more I could look at things in a much more positive light just from reaching out to someone else. And you were talking about smiling, and that's what made me think of it, because sometimes it's just you may have attention on certain things that aren't, maybe they're not going the way that you want them to go. But when you smile at someone else, it's like you engage in the transference of love. And as soon as you do that, there is like an uplift to your own spirit that adjusts, it just adjusts everything in that day.
I think it's the easiest way to feel love. Where this love emanates from, it truly emanates from God. When we simply smile, it's like a response of our own selves, just amazingly having this spirit of giving, because it's beautiful to see it on our children. And as soon as we see that smile on them, we smile back. And it's like a blissful moment, just sparkle right there. Just when it makes me think of the time when you first saw your first baby, their face, that smile was like, oh, he's here. And that's just beautiful. I think once I wrote about how beautiful it is to imagine Jesus smiling, because we see him so often in pain and suffering. But I do picture him smiling. I do picture him meditating. When I have gatherings with people who are in need of some guidance, we do recall the times that he walks away from the crowds and sits alone. What does that mean? It was a way of meditating. It was a way of praying to God and being alone. We do need alone time. Something that is very, very profound is the recognition that some cultures have thought of that alone time is punishment. So children, especially children, if you tell them you need alone time, they often think that you are giving them time out.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
And really, the longer time is a gift.
Yeah. When we're adults, is something we crave. I mean, at least I love to be fully present for my children as I am for God. But truly, if I am not fully with God,
Yes.
I will not be the mother I am.
That's
I
so
will
true.
not be the anything.
No, you won't be the mentor. You won't be the
Yeah.
coach. You won't be the employee. You won't be, I mean, none of it.
Everything emanates from that relationship.
Yeah. Like we were talking about earlier, like that centeredness, that inner calm, that it just like you literally float. It doesn't matter what's happening. You just you just float through the day.
Yes. It's for some people, they think, you know, we achieve a point where we don't get angry. Yes, we do get angry. We're humans. We do lose control of how we react to things. But then you you do realize how will you react through the love of God. So many times, um, this part of our human body or human brain has been so trained to react when we don't accept things, when the easiest way for everything, even for when you say, oh, I don't have money right now. Right now, I don't have money, but it's coming, it's clearing in the bank, it's gonna take a couple days. That's when one kind of reaction. You accept the moment that you are living or passing through, but that doesn't mean that you're going to remain there forever, because your perspective of how you handle the things that you want to better in your life are just one thought away, one prayer away.
Yeah, we did decide on a theme for this year, and that was creating the future now. And that's what you're talking about right there. You're saying, okay, I recognize that this is the present moment, but in this next moment, I recognize that this, and this is coming, and that this, and this is here. It's just like clearing in the bank. It's coming to me. It's because whatever it is that we plant right now is exactly what will show up in our near future or
Is this
distant.
communication where God is listening, but what is your prayer? God, I know it's coming. I am being patient. The bank doesn't open this weekend, but on Monday, I will have what I need to make these payments, to face this, to face that, to get this solved. Everything has a solution as long as we accept it first. But when we put resistance, that's when we create more problems and more pain and more suffering. And God, to me, is not the one causing the suffering ever.
No,
He's,
no,
he's not a punisher. He's not
no.
someone who will make you people. I believe cultures also tell you to a lot about karma, but I think God, even God, who is a forgiving God, doesn't have those things. It's us who, if we stay on the bad thought, will reflect the bad thought. It will keep on
Yes,
coming, coming and coming and coming.
absolutely. We
But
do control so
God,
much of that.
yes, but with God, everything, once you begin to feel blessed, that blessing will keep evolving. And it's not, I can never see myself where I was 7 years ago. Like when you, once you learn it,
Yes,
you evolve, you
yes,
keep growing, you
yes.
as a fortress tree, you know, you just get so strong. A hurricane can come and you will still standing
Yes.
because you are never alone. God is fully supporting.
Well, that is the message then for the people that are listening. You are never alone,
Never, never alone.
and God is fully
Never.
supporting you. Talk to
Fully.
him. Talk
Yes.
to him. And and the more that you do, the easier the connection, the more quickly you feel the connection.
Yes. In practice, it's not to make it perfect. It's just to
No.
make it a habit.
Yes.
As we practice, we practice, we practice, suddenly we turn around and years have passed by and you get better and better and better at.
Yes.
In those times that you think, oh, I have to meditate for an hour. Later on, you want 2 hours because an hour is not
Yes. So
long.
true.
But we have lives, we have tasks, we have commitments. So you move your time around.
I have found like the more that I spend that time in quiet, I can look at the clock and think, well, I have to be on something like in 15 minutes, say, and I'll be like, I'll just set the alarm on my phone and I'm gonna just close my eyes and connect. And I can be in a meditation for 5 or 6 minutes, and I step out of it and I feel like I had a long nap. I'm refreshed. I'm present. I'm so present in the moment. And I just feel this elevated sense about me. So it doesn't require a lot of time. It just, I think at the beginning it required more time because I had to learn, I just had to do it enough to understand that feeling of connection. And once I got that, then it was just, it is easier to connect. Like, I love the idea of being able to have a whole hour to meditate. But for me, that's not every day for me. I have to take it in like 10 minutes or 20 minutes or something like that. But I take it because for me now, it's like going home. I go home. I don't know how to explain that. It's just, I have this feeling of being, when you have that feeling of being cradled, it's just, there's nothing like it.
I love it myself. I love it. I crave it every day.
Yeah, me too.
It's one of my favorite things to do. It's where I truly feel the blessing of being alive.
Well, we're going to put your information, we'll put it, I'll add it in, like how people can follow you on Facebook, because honestly, your messages they're just, it's not just inspiring, they're the transfer of spirit. And I recognize that, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you for this great conversation. Myself, I wish I had learned, I wish I had known like what I know now in meditation. Like, I wish I had known that feeling sooner. For me, it was very late in my life. It's only been recent history, like I said. But I will tell you, for anybody listening, developing a practice of prayer, of daily prayer and meditation. And it doesn't have to be formal. It's just, you want to set the time aside with the solitude, to go to quiet, have a place that you go, if you can, that's kind of dedicated. For me, I had a teacher tell me that was the best way to develop that practice. And over time, I realized how true that was, because when I would go to that specific part of my home, sit in that specific chair, I knew, like, all of me kind of showed up ready to meditate after a certain period of time, and it made everything like a lot easier. But I really encourage people to pray, to get into a meditative state where they can receive that. They can receive that calm. They can receive that centeredness, because I do believe that every word and every thought is a prayer that we are planting right now, that is going to come up in an hour, in a day, in a month, in a year. It's going to come up. And so we want to be sure to be planting those things that reflect what we want.
Exactly. If we can, for a few seconds, because truly 1 hour feels like a second with God. If for a few seconds we focus on love and light, like you invited us to be with you today to share the love and light, I assure you that the whole year 2021 will be filled with more love and with more light, because the words that you carry into the next year, my word this year was miracle, and I had lived so many miracles. But if we can just think for a second, my words this year will be love and light. How far can we go in a day, in a week, in a month? Reminding ourselves that we emanate from the love of Jesus, from the light of Jesus, and that love and that light will stay with us every single day.
Thank you. Thank you for that wisdom. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of this event, Angel-ica. I really appreciate you. And tomorrow morning when you wake up and those little ones are just so excited, I mean, there's so much joy that you're going to have tomorrow. And thank you for sharing with us, you know, some of what you do and some of what you know. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I truly, I'm praying right now for everyone who feels it needs a little bit of uplift, of embracement. You know, so many times we need that hug, you know, that so deep hug in our hearts.
Yeah.
May God bless them and hug them as they quiet their minds, as they find time for God. Eventually they will realize that they have to make time for other things, but the time well spent with God is what truly makes this life worth living. It's so worth it. It's, you said I had found out about meditation recently. I think if we, like I said earlier, if we all believe in God the way we believe in Santa Claus, or the way our children believe in Santa Claus, our lives will be an ongoing morning of celebration, morning of, you know, togetherness, of joy, because the present can be simply waking up to live this joy, to live this life for God. So that's something I wanna work on next year and on sharing with people a little more.
Beautiful. Thank you, Angel-ica.
Thank
you,
you.
Angel-ica. And everyone, Merry Christmas. We'll be back in about an hour with our, we're going to be on with Grace Terry. She's going to sing and play the bowls. And, but
I'm gonna stay up.
oh, good, because you'll love that because you know her.
I
Oh,
love
yeah. So we have that to look forward to. But thank you so much, Angel-ica. I
Thank you.
appreciate
I love you all so much.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.